best son in the world?
And not up
Okay, so it's interesting how we have different decades of women around the table today, and the topic of hormones, people always believe it just relates to people my age. And I think we've all had issues with hormones much younger than my age of being in my 60s. So when did you realize that you were having hormone problems?
In my 20s.
In your 20s? And what made you realize you were having hormones problems? Especially in your 20s, you would think that.
Well, I had a lot of infertility issues when I was married.
Okay.
So I struggled with that for 9 years, actually.
And then, Shelley?
So I noticed my hormones were off after I had my second son. I had him at 31, and then probably in my mid-30s, I started to notice some changes in my body, low energy, thyroid issues, and, never felt rested. So mid-30s.
Sammy?
I would have to just backbone off of Shelley over here. I just had my son, and I feel exactly the same way. So I have very low energy. I could sleep literally all day, and I'm still so tired. I never feel rested or energized. So yeah, postpartum is no joke.
Nadia, in your 20s now, so when did you possibly ever realize you had hormones?
Yes, currently in my 20s and experiencing some of that here in my 20s as well. But I think, especially knowing what I know now, hormone fluctuations, which were normal as a teenager, but that is when I probably noticed that they were changing my life, especially because as a teenager, those are such crucial years of making friends and finding who you are and where you fit in and what lunch table you're sitting at. And as a young teenager, I think through having acne, experiencing then the system of trying to find some kind of result and progress with eliminating that's the first thing you see when you look in the mirror. Your face is, of course, what you're most afraid of anyone else noticing, that you perceive as an insecurity. And through then birth control, that was a whole journey in itself, but then immense fatigue, which I thought, hearing comments of, you're so young, you've got so much energy. No, I didn't. And it really, it impacted my life and the trips we'd take as a family, the conversations I'd have in school with friends that maybe I didn't like, but wanted to like, and didn't feel like it was reciprocated. And I think that stuck with me and really makes me want to be an advocate for women in their teens and just educating them to know and understand what is normal for your body at that time. You're going through puberty, fluctuations are normal, but through that, I think it opened the eyes of myself and then those around me who I could speak to it about. But as a teenager, it was something I learned that was crucial and normal at the same time. But
You know what's interesting is that you guys have such a luxury of understanding hormones so young, when I didn't even understand that hormones played any role in my life till I was in my 50s, and Dominic opened up a hormone optimization health center. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that's the way you're supposed to feel. When you get in your 50s, you're just supposed to feel a certain way, and hot flashes are what you're going to have, and sleepless nights. And I think I had fatigue my entire adulthood. But again, I never even knew to go check my hormones. And when he opened up and he said, I want to check your hormones, I had none. I mean, zero. I had no progesterone, no testosterone, no estrogen, and no doctor ever even asked to say, should we check them? Ever. My primary care, my OBGYN, none. So for me, I learned very late in life. I think I was 55. But, going on the protocol and feeling the way I feel now is unlike anything I felt before. And I just wish that more women would understand that there's options.
I think it's important to point out that any age, if your hormones are unbalanced, you are going to feel fatigue. Like everyday life is too much to manage. You know, you wake up in the morning, you're unrested, and that's why we want to educate women at any age
Yep.
that, you know, we can make life easier and you can truly, you know, get to the point where you're fully rested and just improve your overall life. So after I had my second son, Cole, at 31, it just immediately kicked in. Like Sammy said, I could sleep all day. I never felt rested. We're women. We keep going. We have to power through for our families, for our jobs. We make it happen. But at the end of the day, you're just so exhausted. And so I went to my primary and I was put on thyroid medication. And I was on that medication for about 8 years. And they continued to up my dose. And I never felt better. I never saw any improvement at all. And so when I joined Relive about 3.5 years ago, I did a Dutch test and I had my blood work done and my hormones were completely tanked. My adrenals were fatigued and my cortisol was very low. And so I started the process of optimizing my body. And I had to stop working out, drinking coffee, all the things, just really resting my body to try to recover it. And come to find out, about 6 months later, I did my blood work again, and it wasn't my thyroid. It was just that my hormones, my estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, were so tanked that it was draining my thyroid. So once I got those levels balanced, I stopped taking thyroid medicine. It's been about 3.5 years. I've been levothyroxine free, and I feel great.
I think you made such a good point too, and regardless of the actual root hormone that was causing the issue, but starting with changing, not just pulling out a medication, but changing what you were doing in your day-to-day. That was a matter of stress management, sleep, and caffeine, and changing your routine from the day-to-day that probably kick-started the change, even when you didn't know where it was coming from.
It's like a lifestyle change.
And Sammy, that's what you're going through.
Literally.
Yeah, the exact same thing, because she just did the Dutch test.
Are you not drinking any caffeine?
Oh no, I can't survive without the caffeine. I have like 100 milligrams before 2 p.m. It's allowed.
Wild.
You get to the point where you feel so bad, or like it's Groundhog's Day every day,
Yeah.
that you will do anything to feel better. You will stop working out and rest. You'll stop drinking coffee. And it's totally worth it to regain that energy or vitality that you once had. And
Just to feel like yourself again, it makes a huge difference in your day. Like just to take time for yourself and just to wake up and feel good. Like it just gets it's like a great start to your day.
I don't know if you guys remember when I first did my blood work, I first started my hormones, I was like, I feel like I'm dying. Like I feel so terrible. And Cameron and our nurse practitioner had never experienced that. And they would look at me like, this girl's crazy. Like she's exaggerating, but that's really how I felt. So
Actually, you usually do
yeah.
at the beginning, because it takes a while when you have none, which you didn't have any, and I didn't have any. So when you have none, and then you're introducing hormones into your body, that's one of the big issues with women who start hormone therapy, is that it takes 8 to 10 weeks. And we have to always manage expectations, because it takes 8 to 10 weeks for your body to get adjusted to now having hormones and rethink how it functions with hormones, because it did it without it for so long.
Right. You have to build
Yeah.
them back up.
Yeah.
And oftentimes
And you
your
see it
body
in running the
swells.
location. You see it.
Yeah, I see it all the time. You know, about a month and a half in, women are like, you know, this is not working. I'm swollen. And it's just part of the process. We have to build the hormones up. They didn't leave overnight, so it's not going to come back overnight. And you just really have to trust the process. And once you get to that 3-month mark, you're going to start dropping weight, the swelling, you're going to sleep better. Your overall health is just going to be...
It's funny because traditional medicine doesn't promote hormone optimization. My OBGYN, every year I go there, he goes, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. Because if I was to tell him, oh, I'm on testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, he'd be like, stop. You know, and it's really scary that some people are just they're not educated, and a lot of women aren't even aware of the options. They just feel like this is what I'm supposed to feel when I'm 50 or 60, and that's life.
Oh yeah, I just did my blood work, and then I also did a Dutch test, and I came back like think it was like an 8, because I kept telling Dom, I'm like, oh my God, I literally feel so horrible. I have no motivation. I literally don't care to do anything. I could have like 10 cups of coffee, and like to the point where it's like I don't even want to drink this because it's just not doing anything. Like I don't care. I don't have to have caffeine because it doesn't like make me feel any more energized.
Yeah.
So he's like, go do your blood work, go get a Dutch test so you can see. And then it came back, my testosterone was like at an 8. And I'm not really sure where it's supposed to be, but like that's
It should be between 50 and 100.
Yeah.
So that's why you're not feeling
Mine's around 100 now.
yeah. So I waited 6 months. I don't take any hormones. So like anything that I have been taking is all like natural vitamins through Relive, among like a few other things that like Relive doesn't have. But I've been doing everything with vitamins only. Because like Shelly was talking about earlier, it's like stemming from something, right? So like my cortisol levels were low, my thyroid's low, like so I'm just building all that back up, and then eventually I think it'll come up naturally. Because I didn't look into it until I was 6 months postpartum, but I'm only like 8 months, and I know they say, like I was reading a lot, like it could take up to 2 years for you to feel like more normal after you give birth. So I didn't want to like just dive into the hormones, like especially because I'm trying to have another baby soon. So I just kind of wanted to like baby steps.
Just boost your natural production.
Yeah.
you're the perfect age to do it the natural way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might take a little longer, but it'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nothing for like I take NAD and like glutathione. It's not like nothing.
I wish I knew all of this at an earlier age, like in my 20s when I was going through fertility issues. I was going to a specialist, I was going to a reproductive gynecologist, but they didn't do all of that testing. It really was, okay, let's do artificial insemination and in vitro and...
And give me your credit card.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't feel the support. And if I had known all of this, there's so much trauma I wouldn't have gone through. I did end up getting pregnant. I had a blighted ovum and needed to have a DNC, but that's where the story gets really interesting. I had hyperplasia in my endometrial wall, so I had precancer cells, which they definitely would not have looked at because they had said it's for postmenopausal women typically get this, and I would have developed cancer within 6 months.
Wow.
And the issue was that my progesterone was so low and my estrogen was so high because I struggled with PCOS for many, many years, and I never got my period, and I got it really late in life, and then I almost never had it. And it's just, if they had the appropriate tools, I wouldn't have had to go through all of that. And now, like with Relive, getting the comprehensive blood work, and then being on supporting supplements like and testosterone cream, like I'm optimized, and I'm ready for my future. Like now in my 40s,
Yep.
I'm more hopeful now in my 40s than when I was even in my 20s. Honestly, I think everything is like interconnected, like mind, body, and spirit. I'm much more forward focused on like holistic health and my like what I eat, and the supplements that I take, my sleep. It was maybe 4 hours of sleep a night, and now I crave like 8-9 hours. So I feel like everything is connected, and just changing my life and being more healthy has really helped with that.
And as far as conceiving and prepping to conceive, we have so many supplements that can help with that. You know, the CoQ10,
Yep.
aminos, ozone therapy also helps to prepare the body. I mean, Nadia probably knows better than I.
Progesterone, and you can do that naturally without actually using synthetic progesterone from a compounding pharmacy, but we've got the chasteberry liposomal that helps tremendously. There's Women's Health with DIM to help with the estrogen metabolization, and just making sure that, and to your point, Stephanie, too, with your story, you know that this isn't how it has to be forever. There are things out there. There is education out there. I just have to find a provider who believes in it as hard as I do. And to your point, too, I know that this isn't right. I don't want to accept this as my normal. And I have so much of this life ahead of me that why does it feel like it's far beyond an arm's length and just a reach? It should feel like a simple reach, and you should be able to visualize what you're wanting, mind, body, and spirit, and be able to go grab it. And you speak of feeling low energy and tired, and that's tremendously hard when you can compare it to a time in your life when you didn't feel that way. And knowing that once there was a time where I used to be able to do this, and I was always high energy, go, 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 I didn't have to struggle so much to keep up with day to day. And it doesn't have to be as hard as it is. But there is hope. You just have to find the provider to support you through that and see it with you and see through it.
And everyone's journey is different, and everyone's treatment plan is completely different, because we all have our different issues, and we really have to customize what's best for your body, your hormones, your blood work.
Yeah, and that actually was the case in my past marriage. He had some issues himself, and nobody really wants to talk about that. No man wants to admit that or even get tested, but it can stem from the other side as well. And they have to prep just as much as we do, So.
I mean, Dom and I can relate with that. I mean, we had been like not trying or whatever you want to call it for like 5 years. So we've, and then we finally we went to IVF clinics, like we did the whole thing. We were going to do IVF like literally right before I got pregnant. And then I ended up just like getting pregnant. But like we took like a step back. Like the training takes a toll. Like when you're training hours a day, the stress takes a toll on a male, especially like Dom works like all hours of the day. He's like high stress. And like if you take, we actually like got pregnant at a time, I think like it was more of like a chill time in the year. So he was able to kind of like take a step back and like, lower his stress. And like for me, I just was like monitoring everything. Like I also took a step back from training, and like everyone was like, oh, well, you need to gain weight. Like you need to do this, you need to do that. Like all these like outside of opinions. And I'm like, I'm fine doing whatever, you know what I mean? But like you also have to take into account that like your partner also plays a 50% toll in like getting pregnant. It's not just the woman. So like once you kind of like sync together and like, all hands on deck, and you like monitor things, they have like all the things you can track your ovulation, you can, they have the strips, and like that's kind of what we did. And like once we kind of went like balls to the wall with it, like we ended up getting pregnant in like 3 months.
Just because you have a bleed doesn't mean you're actually ovulating.
Right.
Either.
Like you could also get your period and still like not actually ovulate. So like you have to check that. And like it's literally like, I know people like, some people sneeze and get pregnant. Like you see like, 16 and pregnant, like, and it really affects you. Like for me, it was affecting me a lot. Like I felt like everybody was getting pregnant around me. Like when I really like, and I started like hyper focusing on it, and you kind of like, you can't do that, So, and it's like you literally can get pregnant like 1 or 2 days a month.
And it's like 1 in a million to get pregnant. It's so hard to get pregnant.
It's harder than people think, because, like when you're like really trying to get pregnant, it's a very sensitive subject.
Yes.
And people like to give their opinions.
Oh my God. All day long.
I mean, this is going back, okay, Dom's 35, going back 40 years. And I was on a low estrogen dose. And I was okay. I was on a very low estrogen dose. So I was okay while I was on it. And then obviously when you want to get pregnant, you come off it, you have to stay off it for a few months. I did. And as soon as like the few months was over, I got pregnant with Dom. And then after I had Dom and tried to go back on it, I couldn't. I mean, my blood pressure was going through the roof. And I tried other things, and it was like, I guess I had to get my tubes tied, because my body was not responding well to birth control after I had a child.
Well, your hormones are so different after you have a child.
Oh,
You're like
yeah.
a completely changed person. I feel like it's very
creating
like,
new life.
yeah, it's different.
Wild.
Yeah.
Like I was one of probably the first women, because it was right when he first opened. I did have those issues that Shelley spoke of, where I went in and I'm going, I'm getting off this shit. Literally, I'm like, I don't feel good. I mean, I'm beginning to feel like I'm swelling and gaining weight. And they're like, chill, Ma, chill. Give it another, you've only been on it for 6 weeks. It's a 10 to 12 week process. And then immediately it kicked in. And I mean, one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about Relive is I just want people to understand that there's options. I really do. Women, especially women, women just do not make themselves a priority in life. They're second, third, fourth, or fifth in the pecking order. It's the husband, the kids, the work, the family, and then maybe I'll slip in at number 5.
Oh, the house, and then yourself.
Yeah. Then it's number 6.
expected to manage.
6 or 7. Okay, now you're down into the bottom 5 of the priorities in your life, and I see so many women, especially now that I'm associated with Relive, that people come in and they'll comment that, my God, you know, for your age, you know, what are you doing? It's like, walk in the door. I mean, get your blood work done. There's options, you know. I mean, I started with hormone therapy, but I obviously have graduated to other peptides to support cellular health and mitochondria health and telomere lengthening and all of the above. So it wasn't all at once, but little by little, I've gotten onto other things that just support a very healthy, vibrant, energetic lifestyle. I feel better now than I did in my 20s.
That's what I was about to ask next.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, which decade do you think you felt your most confident?
Probably in my 20s, you know, and then, well, I had Dom when I was 27. So probably in my 20s, and then after you have a kid, then all of a sudden life gets tough. Now then you lose confidence because you feel like you're just surviving. You know, it's survival mode. You know, it's, you know, working, the baby, the family, the husband, the work. It's just you get into this cycle. And, you know, I've talked to so many people about regrets in life, and I only have one, is that I didn't have more kids. But now I have Enzo, my grandson, so I'm good. Sammy's taking care of the others for me.
Yeah, filling the void.
Sammy's filling the void, but once I'm telling you, that's why it's so important postpartum to take care of yourself and identify that, because all of a sudden you're going to start feeling like, oh, this is the worst part of my life, and it should be the best part of your life.
I think people do try to attempt to feel better and take results into their own hands or seek them out through whatever they're reading online, which probably contributes to some of that fear-mongering, the confusion, maybe possible misconceptions. And I think that the comprehensive testing that we use at Relive is a lot to do with the expectations that we do manage and the conversations that we do have that create results that others haven't seen yet, because they don't have these conversations, they don't have these tests. I'm speaking about the Dutch test. I counted the 66 actual tests that we run in our labs, and understanding that estrogen, testosterone, progesterone, how those metabolize in your body changes every day throughout the month, throughout our
Starting in your teens and 20s.
And then as we age as well, that
Oh yeah, then they just deplete. Yeah.
I think for women especially, a lot of the fear and maybe some of the doubt behind starting some of these hormone options comes from what I've seen, the estrogen conversation, and does it cause cancer, and whether that's at risk to you and it's in your family, it runs in your genes, or it could be just maybe our testing wasn't comprehensive enough to where we could see where this was going, what your body was doing with it. And so understanding what those hormones do in your body through the Dutch test especially is so important for understanding what is the next action step to take, and if that hormone is right for you, or if we need to maybe rewind a step or two and look at supplementation, look at lifestyle factors. We need to reduce stress so we can metabolize and bring estrogen through a different pathway throughout the day, so that it's not toxic and it's filtered more effectively through your liver, and it's not contributing to something that would be a concern. Because I think people are afraid, and those are questions that should be asked, and they are. But I think it's easy to find information online that supports your fear, and harder to find information that proves you otherwise until you're having the conversation with the people who are doing it every day.
Well, I think, and when you think of the age group of you ladies, I don't think people even think of hormones as an issue. I mean, hormones are for people in their 50s.
They're like, you're young.
It's not hormones, you know?
You're young.
Yeah.
And then when you get into your 50s, you don't address it because you really feel like this is the way I'm supposed to feel.
Yeah.
This is normal for being in your 50s, and none of it is normal. And I think the environment is playing real havoc on the younger girls today with hormones, because it's the food, it's the air we breathe, it's what we drink, it's everything we put in our body. I mean, I read a thing where, girls should absolutely be eating only organic, boys too, only organic meat, because the hormones that they give animals to get them bigger quicker, when you ingest them, your body doesn't know the difference, and you end up having hormone overload. I would say my late, probably probably my late 40s, because my menstrual cycle started getting real crazy. So that was like the first sign of what the heck is going on. I would not get it, then get it really heavy. There was no rhyme or reason. And then the hot flashes. And this was even before, like, again, I still didn't do anything about it until Dom got into the industry. I could just be sitting here talking to you and all of a sudden pouring sweat, like literally pouring down, like, what the hell is going on? Obviously, at night, sleeplessness. And again, until Dom engaged in this, in Relive, I just thought, hey, it's normal. I'm just gonna have to get through it. They just did a blood work to say, yeah, you're in it. That's about it. They never said, how do you make yourself feel better? Like my gynecologist ran a blood test and said, yep, you're right. You're in perimenopause. I'm like, oh, great. What do I do? Nothing. You just got to live through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I hate how that's like a path that's already cut out for you. And I think through the generation of women that is seeking out that support through this testing, the supplementation, understanding how those lifestyle actions contribute to your hormone health, and really moving the needle in the direction of that path isn't defined for you, you're defining your own. And you're sort of learning who you are at this phase in your life. That's to your discretion, and that's in your hands and in your power.
I would like to say something about a question you asked earlier about what is the age where you felt you're most confident. And I'm going to definitely say it's my 40s. And I think it has to do with a lot of things, life experience, the things I've been through, finding my voice, being a mother, being a career woman, optimizing my hormones, and
I feel like a lot of women say that.
yeah.
Oh, I would agree with you, Shelley. You asked the question, I was thinking prior to now, like I'm comparing it to when I felt my best. And I would say before I started going through life changes, but I totally agree with you. It would be now in my 60s.
And the peptides I'm on
Yep.
as well, the regenerative, anti-aging, the stem cells and exosomes I've done. I really feel like it's reverse time in a lot of ways, not only on, the outside, but the inside as well.
I would
Regenerative
agree
medicine
with
is very
watching you
helpful.
over the last few years go through that journey. When you came on board, always a beautiful, bright young lady, but you had these health issues that you were battling and life issues.
Yeah.
And I see you now, 3+ years later, you're a totally different person, much more confident, and which is beautiful to watch. I have seen it with, I think, all of these people to my left here.
I can echo that in my 40s. I'm 40, almost 41, and I feel the best I've ever felt. And a lot of it has to do with detoxing from everything that I was on prior to coming to Florida and coming to Relive. Just being on all of the SSRIs that I was on, the ADD meds that I was on, and just like trying to find my way. I was like a diluted version of myself. I didn't have the energy, the motivation, but with Relive, because I did the comprehensive blood work and then got on NAD, and then supplements like omega-3, on magnesium, NAC, women's health,
K2.
D2, yep, B complex.
Methylene blue for a little while,
Yeah.
wearing your blue dress.
Yes, yeah. Blue, Niagen now, but it's really just transformed my entire life and not being held down by all the prescriptions that I was on. I just really, truly feel free, and I feel like myself.
You're fueling your body with all the good stuff it
Yeah.
needs
Yeah.
that it depletes of.
And it doesn't have to be with all of those things at once. I think,
Right.
too, the approachable way to think about this is, the chunks of time where you experimented and tried new things and were open to ditching this and starting that instead, and having an open mind and knowing that there's so many opportunities with it, the resources that exist, that it's just a matter of trying it and being open.
And it's not going to be perfect right away either, like you said. There's trials that I've gone through. I was still struggling with my ADD just up until a few days ago before I found the Brain Plus. Honestly.
A few days ago.
Actually,
Honestly,
I
yeah.
just literally 3 days ago, I was like, this actually works.
Yeah.
no, it does.
It
Actually,
does.
no, I know it does.
Energy drink, you're like zoned in.
I haven't tried it with the Cognizant yet.
Oh, you take that with the bum energy and you're like,
Zoom in.
yeah, you're like getting work done.
Brain is excellent. And actually, I remember when it came out, they said that it would help people that were on ADD medication.
Yeah.
Yep.
NAD, methylene blue, ozone,
Yep.
all of those things will help with mitochondrial health and recovering,
Brain bag.
brain fog.
Yeah, I noticed too that the brain supplement also helped with my mood and with my energy because I noticed it had lithium in it and it has saffron, so it helps with mood elevation too. So it's really good to support.
I don't think people realize the quality of those supplements.
Yeah,
I mean, they are so superior than anything. There's so much thought put into it. It's amazing.
Saffron is so good for boosting your mood.
I remember some of the first supplements with liver and kidney. Those were all things that you would go on Amazon and get like 5 different things.
Yeah.
And now it's all on our nutrition facts and in one serving. And even still, I take a tackle box full.
Oh, I have one too.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
It's literally a tackle box. I ordered off Amazon and put all my subs in.
My mother made me drink a glass of milk every night.
Does that actually work?
Well, I was drinking soy milk because I didn't like
Soy
which was
milk.
not
That's
even
not
better for me
healthy.
at all.
Yeah, and especially if you have a history of osteoporosis in your family, you're at a higher risk. We have peptides that can kind of reverse the onset of osteoporosis or, brittle bones, and supplements as well.
There's a lot that exacerbates that and can make that risk worse, even if it really wasn't a risk ever before. With a lot of what we're putting into our bodies now, we're using for contraception. And I don't want to shame that word too many times, that BC abbreviation, because it works for people who are using it as a method of contraception. But just to have been aware of some side effects and what I might be facing, that being one of them with osteoporosis as a risk, I think that it not just matters what we're doing now to fix it, but rewinding. What can we do for the generations that we leave behind us to reset that and turn a new direction?
That's always my goal, is generational change. What I did wrong, I want to teach my children, a different way to take care of your body, fuel it. But when you brought up birth control again, I was thinking I was on the birth control pill, and then I had my first son, and then I had an IUD, and then I had that removed, and then I had my second son. And I'm wondering, with the pill and the IUD, if, after having my second son is what really maybe worked together to tank my hormones.
I think just over the years, and you said it earlier, like women don't stop. We find a way through. We know that the only way out is to go through it and to overcome it. And after years and years and years of doing that to your body, your stress resilience that tank is only so full for so long. And the ways in which we might know to assume we're recharging by maybe working out and exercising or going for a girls' night and having alcohol, that's actually not as restorative as what we might hope it could be. Maybe we don't feel mentally stressed, but physically in the body, it is causing some kind of stress. And I think just over time, we're talking years and years and years of environmental stress, physical stress, and mental stress still counts, but it'll wear you down. And having 2 children is a lot. Yeah. I think I see so many amazing women and amazing mothers and supporters, even just of myself, of your own families, and that motherhood and nurturing in itself is a lot of responsibility.
Don't have children till you're ready. It's so much work, Sammy, isn't it?
I had one at I have 31, and I was like, oh, maybe I should have waited to 35. It's hard.
I had one at 25 and one at 31, and I was a more fun mom at 25. At 31, I was a little bit more mellow and ready, but it was still hard.
It's just hard. Yeah.
It doesn't get easier, it gets different.
Oh, it never.
It gets better. I mean, people, I feel like, I don't know, like you see all this on Instagram. It's like newborn bliss. Like, I love this. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, you're in the trenches. Like, I think anybody who posts that is lying.
The first month is a complete blur.
Yeah. Like, you don't remember anything. You're just like, obviously, like each phase has its like beautiful moments, right? Like Enzo now, like he never just like will sleep on me all day. Like he doesn't. He just squirms around, but he's like smiles and has a personality and he moves, and it's like, so now it's better, but now he's like moving everywhere. So it's like, can you sit still? Like, he just won't sit still. But it's just like, it's fun. It gets fun. Like, you're in the trenches for a long time, and then it gets fun.
Funner.
Funner.
I have a 12-year-old and he's still an absolute angel. Bless his heart. My 17-year-old.
No, that's hormones.
Oh, he's a spice cake.
Yeah. No, that's like with girls too. Like when they turn 16, 17, they're like,
That was the start of my birth control journey, was
oh yeah,
trying
no,
to find
I'm
a
not,
solution
yeah.
for acne. And
Bless. I don't have to deal with that. No one's coming home pregnant in our household right now. That's good.
And I didn't even, I never even considered anything beyond the dozens of topicals and antibiotics, and never went down to the Accutane route. I don't think it was as severe, but I even know that's toxic in its own way.
Very toxic.
And
Not good for you.
I know that it leads to some negative outcomes even in young boys too. But
It affects the mental health.
and with the birth control thing, not understanding anything, but all I could hear, I remember sitting, it was in a dermatologist's office, thinking that this was going to be the solution for my acne, and I was going to be able to walk into the classroom with my chest high and sling my backpack over my back casually and just own my shit without worrying about what everyone else is seeing. Because all I saw was my vision and my imagination of what people were seeing. And I never had cystic acne or anything bad, but still, I think insecurity is insecurity. And had I known then that if someone had just said to me, look, you're going through puberty, your hormones are trying to find their way just as you are, and
Ride the wave.
this is a wave you have to ride. I think that had I changed things in my diet, had I not been drinking milk or soy milk for dinner every night with my dinner, and changing my activity, my diet, like I said, and I had no idea what stress management was then, but all of that definitely plays a factor. But just riding it out through the years, trying a combination pill, trying with an IUD, none of it ever did much of anything. It just presented a whole bunch of other things that were issues that I was like, where is this coming from? And I just assumed it was me because no one ever warned me or talked to me about it.
I think a fun conversation would stem around, because we got 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Let's turn to the generation under us and give them advice. For instance, I would look at Aletha and say, in my 50s, if you being in your 50s, this is the advice that I would give you. And then we can go all the way down to Nadia in her 20s. So as I look at Aletha and I think of myself in my 50s, I think, it's a little bit different because you know Relive and you know what we have to offer. But I would say have the confidence to be bold and to be true to yourself. Not think that because I'm in my 50s, I'm on the tail end and I need to sort of go out quietly to pasture. No, fucking make noise.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. We just gotta keep living life.
Yep.
There's so much to life. There's
Yep.
so much out in this world that just don't settle for anything less.
I think people, when they reach 50s, and then I look at I go, okay, now it's a tail end. It's like, okay, we're supposed to just sort of chill and watch TV. And it's like, I think totally different for many reasons in my life. One, I think I'm just reignited because I have the most amazing grandson, but also because I'm just looking at life differently because I feel differently. And I would say,
negative vibes, Gina.
yeah, the negativity is gone. And lean in and know that you've got years and years ahead of you, and don't sit back. Now, what would you tell Shelley, this young lady in her just breaking 40?
just breaking 40s. That there's so much out in the world, like I was saying, that I can't even talk. I'm just going to start laughing. Sorry. There's just so much out there. Like, don't settle for anything, anyone. That keep taking care of our bodies, especially being in Relive. We're just learning about hormones and peptides. We don't know that when in our 30s and 40s. You do because you're in the space, but just taking care of our bodies, and just not settling for no, not settling for mediocre, and
I need that sometimes.
don't settle. And you know what? And just when you think life's getting hard,
That's like
That's
like every woman's advice.
Don't settle.
don't settle because you think you're like this is enough or oh I'll this isn't so bad or I could just maybe not buy a house or maybe just there's certain things that people just they
Put
settle
off.
for. They put off. That's the word. They put off, and it's not enough. There's more to life. There's more to life. Especially if you have a partner that's not what you want. I mean, there's a lot of fish in the sea. There's a lot of fish out there, and
I like fish.
but that's okay. Catch and release, honey. Catch and release. Catch and release. But I, just don't settle.
Got it. Okay. My dear Sammy, I just really want to encourage you to embrace every part of your 30s. You have your baby, you have your husband, you have this beautiful life. And while Enzo's growing, those moments are going to be gone so quickly. I think back to when my kids were little and I remember the way they smelled and their eyelashes. It goes by so fast.
Yeah.
So really enjoy that time, but also don't forget about you, because in your 30s, it's so hard to lose yourself and focus on business, traveling, the baby, but you can't lose sight of you, or that's how I feel like things start to change in life. Your relationships start to change, and have date night with your husband, get away with him, make sure that once you're ready, making sure that romantic portion of the life is taken care of and it comes back, because it's so important. Not, and talk about it, not just like in the bedroom, but like when you're at breakfast or out to dinner, just finding new ways to reconnect and keep that relationship beautiful. And
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
I don't
Love
know.
it.
Dating.
Great advice.
Keep up the good work.
Honestly, I'm gonna have to kind of like piggyback off of Aletha because I think you're so young. Not that I'm like, years ahead of you, but like, your 20s are supposed to be fun. Like you're supposed to like try new things, experience life, like date, whatever, like I think just don't settle. I think you should choose yourself. I think 20s are a time where you can just be selfish. And I think that you should, just like live your best life. Like don't settle, choose you, be so confident because you're so beautiful. And I think you have like so many years ahead of you to just, have a baby, buy a house, settle down, whatever. And like, I think now is the time to just live.
Got my lip quivering.
I would just want to say something else. We are, 5 generations here?
Yep.
But we are all such good friends. We've been through a lot together. And it's not about age. It's about who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And the right people and the right mentality. And like Gina has my back all the time, making me tougher as a businesswoman and challenging me. And we get into it. But I love her for that, because we can go back and forth and still know that we love and respect each other.
Yeah.
And it's all about who you surround yourself with. And
And I'll preface it sometimes and say, I'm doing this because I love you.
You have so many women though. You have so many women though, like of every age and background that can like give you advice in every realm, not just, hormones, not just dating, not just childbirth, whatever. Like you have like all of these people at your disposal who truly like we all love each other and we're all just there and we can tell each other to kind of like fuck off, but also like love each other at the same time, like there's no hard feelings. Like it's all just like, okay, we're fighting, but we're back again and we're good. Yeah.
Single one of them. And I'm the oldest one that's supposed to be the wisest, and no. I mean, but I get a lot of advice from all of the women in my life, from all the different ages, where they're looking out for me in different ways based on my own experiences that I've gone through, and they make me reflect back on me where I'm probably a very selfless person over the years. It's just how I was raised. It's who I am. And they're teaching me to make me a priority.
So you're trying to be selfish.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Maybe a
You
little
know.
foreign.
Huh?
Maybe a little foreign to you.
It's very foreign. Yeah, it's very foreign.
But I love you're taking the trips and you're getting
Yeah.
to, spend time with the baby and
It's a whole new life. It's a
New
wonderful
chapter.
life. I wake up every day grateful. And we've all been through a lot of shit to get us to the day we are.
Can I give advice to, I don't have anyone to my left, but to anyone in their 20s or younger as a teenager and a young female, young adult, you are your own most important project and in a constant state of becoming, developing, and Shelley, to your point, surrounding yourself with the right people. Yeah. I mean, I think a huge reason why I feel comfortable as someone who didn't always used to and asking for advice and asking for help and being like, hey, I don't know how to handle this, what to do about it, how to bring it up. I think you guys are a huge reason for that and why I feel like I have those I can lean on. So thank you for being who all of you are. And I hope you change in every way that's only meant for you and that we can all continue to love and support each other in the way we have, because I can only hope that someone my age younger has those people and has that circle in their life, and to not accept normal, to trust your instincts if something does feel wrong or off, and to ask questions, be curious, and advocate for yourself and what you feel is true to you in every realm, but especially your health, because your health is constantly evolving and it's also forever at the same time. So I think that preserving your heart, your mind, and the health of your body and that system in itself and everything beneath that, the systems of hormones and things in the body, but just honoring yourself in that way. And I think that is what's going to attract you to that group of people who can.
happiness comes from within.
True.
Okay.